and we're trying to figure out what motivated each and every one of them. We're talking to a second group here now. Give us your name, your party affiliation, and what sent you to the polls.
My name is John Douglas, and I am a Republican. And what sent me to the polls was I wanted to preserve our traditional American values that I think are being under attack by the left. What we've seen is that the left has shown a complete disregard for the Constitution and our rights. They've shown that they are not in favor of free speech, which is why we have free speech zones at college campuses. They've shown they're not in favor of the Second Amendment. They've shown that they don't believe in religious liberty, and they prefer that. They prefer non-discrimination laws over religious liberty. And after Brett Kavanaugh, they showed that they don't really believe in due process either, and that's really important to me. So I voted to protect those fundamental rights.
All right, let's bring in Isai Contreras, libertarian, right?
Yes, sir, I am.
And so what motivated you at the polls to get you out?
Well, it was more like a message that I kind of wanted to send, especially on behalf of anybody that's more center or third party, in the sense that, you know, you don't have to buy into what either major party is saying. You can choose to follow a conscience different than that. And so, of course, like at the heart of my vote, I try to keep the constitutional values above everything else, you know, free speech, preservation of gun rights, et cetera, et cetera. But even beyond that, I just wanted to show, like, look, there are other options. If you feel like you cannot go with either party, go somewhere else. Like, it's out there, and, you know, and make your voice count. So that's what drove me. All
right, let's bring in Jason Rowe, and you are a Republican. So did the millennials and did the young people make a difference in this election? We saw a lot of young people going to the polls in Texas this year.
We did. We saw record turnout. They definitely made a difference in the election. I mean, I think that's been evident. And whether or not they made a difference in the race that they wanted to make a difference in, we've seen Beto lost, you know, obviously, but he made huge gains in some areas. You know, those people getting out and getting active in the political process is important in itself, and him being able to establish that network is going to be pretty critical for Democrats going forward. But for me, the young people, we actually formed a super PAC called Pirate PAC, and we went out and were trying to engage young conservatives and teach them how to be more involved in the political process. So I got involved in that pretty early on.
Okay. All right, we're going to go over to Studio A, where Mark Jones has the latest from Rice University. Mark Jones, about the Congressman Dan Culberson race. Mark?
Yeah. Hello. Okay. Okay, in CD7, I think it's clear Lizzie Fletcher has defeated John Culberson. There's no doubt about it. Lizzie Fletcher will be heading to Congress to represent the 7th District. One other race that seems increasingly likely is that Judge Ed Emmett, who is a favorite among many, is going to be a victim of straight ticket voting, and it looks like he is going to lose his election very narrowly to Lina Hidalgo. There's still a few boxes out, but it's not looking good for the judge, who's down by about 8,000 votes. So there still is a chance for Judge Emmett, but it looks like Lina Hidalgo will have a shocker and become the next county judge of Harris County, the 3rd most populous county in the entire country. More people than in 25 states.
All right, thanks a lot, Mark Jones. We're going to continue with our panel of voters here on The Factor Uncensored. Jordan Wilson, who's a Democrat. What took you to the polls? What motivated you to go and vote the way you did?
I voted to show that my Black community, that our voices matter. Every vote that we do, every step that we take in the polls, in the community, in the government, that we matter. Our voices matter. And I had a lot of people in CUNY homes tell me, oh, why should I vote? It doesn't matter the party, lesser two evils. Well, you can change that with your vote, and that's what I chose to do.
All right. Thanks a lot. Let's bring the microphone down here and get Jacob way involved in this conversation. For those who say their voices don't count, when you hear that as a voter and someone who's an active Republican, what do you think about that when people feel like they don't have a say in an election, they're only one vote?
Sure. So obviously, you know, you do only have one vote, but there's so many different ways to be able to influence the electorate. I mean, people that get involved in things like Jason was talking about, like Pirate PAC, that makes a really big difference in the electorate. You can influence so many more votes by knocking on doors, by going to events, by sign waving at the polls. I was actually sign waving on the side of the road and making phone bank calls at the same time over the past couple of days. And so I've been very motivated to actually get involved myself to affect change more than just my vote.
All right, let's bring Maria Durham into the conversation. Your thoughts on what took you to the polls, and do you feel like you made a difference? Do you feel like your vote counted in this midterm election?
Definitely. I mean, my biggest motivation was immigration as well as healthcare, and also making sure that, you know, I was one of the voices for the minority communities. And as far as making a difference, I can tell you that for the past 4 weeks, I have been canvassing in the Southwest in Fort Bend, been reaching out to the Asian American community, to the Latino community, and we're energized. And just like Christine said earlier today, this is a marathon, and I think that right now we're starting to really see that, you know, that the change is coming, and you're seeing it at all levels.
All right, Christy Bridges, let's bring you into this conversation. Obviously, we're still waiting on a lot of results in Harris County, and it could be sort of a shade of blue. Are you disturbed by that, and how do you plan on making a difference if it becomes a blue county to a Republican like you?
It is a little bit disturbing to see a little bit of a blue wave come in. Obviously, as a Republican, I do believe in the Republican values in our platform. However, I would hope that we can all work together, and I hope that maybe we can use this as a platform to energize our youth to come out and make a bigger difference, especially those who may be conservative and not exposed to the conservative platform.
All right. Thank you, voters, for coming on the Factor Uncensored. And we'll be back with more Factor Uncensored in just a moment. Make sure you stay with us.